You have been carrying something heavy for a long time. No one really sees it. You answer messages, you finish your work, you smile when someone asks if you're okay. You keep moving because stopping feels harder than pretending everything is fine. But when the room grows quiet, when the phone is finally face down, when there is nothing left to distract you, the questions return. Have I been forgotten? Does anyone truly see me? Have I gone too far to find my way back? I have heard every one of those questions, even the ones you never spoke aloud. I heard the sigh you let out before walking into another exhausting day. I noticed when you checked your phone, hoping someone would reach out, only to put it away feeling a little more alone. I saw the nights when sleep would not come because your mind refused to be still. You thought those moments disappeared into silence. They didn't. They reached me. Long before you searched for me again, I was already waiting for you. Not with disappointment, not with anger, but with the patient love of someone who never stopped believing you would look up again. There is something I want you to understand. Waiting has never meant leaving. Many people mistake silence for absence, but they are not the same. Imagine an old path through a quiet forest. It never runs after the traveler. It never forces anyone to walk it. It simply remains, morning after morning, season after season, steady beneath the falling leaves, ready whenever tired feet return. That path is a picture of my heart. You may feel like you've spent years wandering, changing jobs, changing routines, trying to fix what still feels broken inside, searching for peace through success, searching for comfort through distractions, searching for rest in places that could never truly satisfy your soul. For a moment, each new beginning gave you hope. A promotion, a relationship, a fresh goal, a new habit. You believed, maybe this is what I've been missing. But before long, the same emptiness returned. You wondered why. It wasn't because you failed. It wasn't because you didn't try hard enough. It was because your soul was never created to live without my direction. A traveler may own the finest shoes, but beautiful shoes cannot replace the right path. You have blamed yourself for feeling lost. Yet the deepest exhaustion often comes from walking without knowing where your heart belongs. That is why I have never stopped preparing the way before you. Even on the days you forgot to pray, the path remained. Even when disappointment made you silent, the path remained. Even after mistakes you still regret, the path remained. You believed every wrong turn erased your future. I never saw it that way. Have you ever watched a child learning to walk? They fall again and again. A loving parent doesn't count the falls. They celebrate every step. Why do you believe my love is any smaller? I have seen every quiet act of courage that no one else noticed. The mornings you got out of bed when your heart felt empty. The kindness you showed while carrying your own pain. The prayers that lasted only a few words because tears finished the sentence. None of it escaped my eyes. You have wondered if your faith became too weak. But faith is not measured by how loud your prayers sound. Sometimes faith is taking one more breath when giving up seems easier. Sometimes it is whispering, "Help me," because you have no other words left, and I have always heard that whisper. Perhaps you've been measuring our relationship by what you feel. I have been measuring it by how faithfully I have stayed beside you. Feelings change like the weather. My presence does not. Like that ancient path beneath the leaves, I have remained where I have always been, closer than you realized, waiting, not to judge you, but to bring you home. And before you can understand why I waited so patiently, you need to discover what has quietly kept you from seeing the path that has been beneath your feet all along. You believed the distance between us was measured by how many days had passed since your last prayer. I never measured it that way. You counted missed mornings, forgotten promises, broken habits. I counted every moment my love carried you when you didn't even know I was there. There were mornings when you rushed out the door with a racing mind, Deadlines were waiting, bills needed to be paid, someone depended on you to stay strong. You told yourself, "I'll spend time with God later." But later became tomorrow. Tomorrow became next week, and before long, you wondered if I had grown distant. I hadn't moved. Your attention had. The path never disappeared. Life simply became louder than your footsteps. The world is filled with voices competing for your heart. Notifications, headlines, schedules, opinions, endless scrolling that promises connection but often leaves you feeling emptier than before. Each one pulls at your attention a little more, until you forget what quiet even sounds like. You kept searching for peace in places that could only offer temporary relief. A few minutes of distraction, another purchase, another achievement, another weekend. Yet when the excitement faded, the questions returned. Because the deepest hunger inside you has never been for more noise. It has always been for my presence. Think again about the path. A path does not force itself into your view. When leaves begin to fall, it can almost disappear. From a distance, it looks no different than the ground around it. But the path has not vanished, it is simply covered. In the same way, your heart has never stopped knowing the way back to me. It has only been covered. Covered by disappointment, covered by worry, covered by guilt, covered by the fear that you are no longer worthy of being welcomed home. That fear has whispered many lies to you. You waited too long. You failed too many times. God is tired of hearing the same prayers. Those words were never mine. Do you remember the story Jesus told about the shepherd who left 99 sheep to find one that had wandered away? The shepherd did not stand on the hill hoping the sheep would somehow rescue itself. He went looking. Not because the sheep earned it, because it belonged to him. That is how I have always looked at you, not as a problem to solve, not as a disappointment to avoid, but as someone deeply loved, someone worth searching for. Even when you believed you were hiding from me, I was gently placing reminders in your path. A conversation that touched your heart, a verse you unexpectedly remembered, a sunrise that made you stop for a moment, a song that reached somewhere words could not. You called them coincidences. I called them invitations. I was never trying to pressure you. Love does not force open a closed door. Love waits. Love knocks gently. Love gives room for a sincere answer. Perhaps that is why you are listening now. Not because your life suddenly became perfect, but because somewhere beneath all the noise, your heart grew tired of wandering. You have spent so much energy trying to carry everything yourself, trying to be strong enough, wise enough, patient enough, good enough. Yet the path was never asking you to carry the journey alone. It was asking you to trust the one who already knew where it leads. The first step back is rarely dramatic. It often begins in silence. A single honest prayer, one deep breath, one moment where you finally stop pretending that everything is fine. That small step matters more than you know, because every journey home begins the same way, not with perfection, but with willingness. And there is something about this path that most people never notice until they begin walking it again. The closer you come, the more you realize, I was never waiting at the end of the path. I was walking beside it all along. But there is an even deeper reason why I chose a path instead of an easy road. And once you see it, you will never look at your own journey the same way again. Have you ever noticed that a path is never created all at once? It is formed one step at a time, one footprint, then another. Over time, what once looked like untouched ground becomes a way forward. That is how I have been working in your life. Not all at once, not in ways that always made sense to you, but through moments that seemed ordinary. The conversation you almost ignored, the delay that frustrated you, the closed door you begged me to open, the unexpected turn you never planned. Looking back, you may only see pieces. I see the whole journey. You have asked me why certain prayers seemed to go unanswered. You wondered why I allowed some dreams to fade, why opportunities disappeared, why people walked away. I know those moments hurt. I was with you in every one of them. But not every closed door was a punishment. Some were protection. You could only see the disappointment. I could see the danger beyond it. A path is different from a shortcut. A shortcut promises speed. A path promises direction. The world tells you to get there faster. I invite you to become stronger. Because the person waiting at the end of this journey is not the same person who first stepped onto the path. Every challenge has been shaping something inside you. Patience, compassion, wisdom, strength that cannot be purchased or borrowed. These are gifts that grow slowly. Just as a tree does not reach the sky in a single season, your soul grows one faithful step at a time. Think about the disciples. When I called them, they were not ready for everything ahead. They were fishermen, tax collectors, ordinary people with ordinary fears. I did not reveal every detail of their future on the first day. I simply said, "Follow me." Each step revealed the next. Had they seen the entire journey at once, they might have been overwhelmed. So I gave them enough light for today. I have done the same for you. You wanted the whole map. I offered the next step. Not because I wanted to keep you in the dark, but because trust grows when you learn to walk with me instead of racing ahead alone. There have been seasons when you felt as if nothing was happening, days that looked exactly like the day before, prayers that seemed to disappear into silence. Yet beneath the surface, something beautiful was taking place. Have you ever watched roots grow? You cannot see them. There is no applause, no dramatic moment. But while everything above the ground appears unchanged, the foundation is becoming stronger. That is what I have been doing in you, strengthening what no one else can see, the quiet faith that keeps choosing hope, the gentle heart that still forgives after being wounded, the courage to begin again after failure. These are roots, and deep roots can hold great storms. That is why I have never rushed your growth. I am more concerned with who you are becoming than with how quickly you arrive. Remember the words of Psalm 23. The Lord is my shepherd. A shepherd never drives the sheep from behind with fear. He walks ahead. He knows where the safe water is. He knows where the cliffs are hidden. He knows which paths lead home. That is why the sheep can rest. Not because the journey is easy, but because the shepherd knows the way. I have always known the way, even when you couldn't see beyond tomorrow, even when tears blurred your vision, even when fear told you to turn back. I remained ahead of you, preparing places your eyes had not yet reached. There is another truth hidden inside the path. Every path has moments where it disappears around a bend. You cannot see what comes next. That uncertainty has frightened you. You have mistaken the unseen for the unsafe. But just because you cannot see beyond the curve does not mean I cannot. I have already stood where you are going. I know the sunrise waiting beyond this season. I know the healing that is still unfolding. I know the joy that has not yet found your doorstep. So when fear tells you to stop walking, remember this. The path has never depended on your ability to see the destination. It has always depended on my faithfulness to lead you there. And soon, you will discover why every difficult step has been preparing your heart for something far greater than simply reaching the end of the journey. There is something else about a path that many people never notice. It does not only lead you somewhere, it changes you while you walk it. If you stood at the beginning of a mountain trail and then met yourself again at the end, you would not be the same person. The distance would not be the greatest change. the journey would. That is how my path has always worked. You have asked me to change your circumstances. Many times I was changing your heart first. Not because your pain did not matter, it mattered deeply. I collected every tear you tried to hide. I stayed through every night when hope felt farther away than the morning. But I could see something you could not. Some blessings can only be carried by a stronger heart. If I had given you everything you asked for the moment you asked, it might have crushed you instead of helping you. So I worked patiently.
The weather changes. The direction does not. Your life has known many seasons. There were days filled with laughter. Days when everything seemed to fall into place. You thanked me without hesitation. But there were other seasons too. Days when your prayers sounded more like questions than confidence. Moments when disappointment settled over your heart like heavy clouds. You wondered if those seasons had ruined the journey. They had not. The storm did not erase the path. It only reminded you how much you needed someone to guide you through it. Remember when Peter stepped out onto the water? For a few moments, he did something that seemed impossible. Then he looked at the wind. He noticed the waves. Fear became louder than trust. He began to sink. But before Peter could call out more than a few desperate words, my hand was already reaching for him. That story has never been about the strength of Peter. It has always been about the faithfulness of the one who refused to let him drown. Perhaps you have been focusing on the moments when your faith felt small. I have been looking at the moments when you still reached for me. Even if it was only with one trembling prayer, even if it was only through silent tears, even if all you could say was, "Lord, help me." I have never ignored that prayer, not once. The enemy wants you to believe your story is defined by every place you stumbled. I see your story through every moment you chose to stand again. Do you know why? Because grace is not found where people never fall. Grace is found where love refuses to leave after the fall. That has always been my heart toward you. Every step you thought was wasted. I was teaching you compassion. Every delay you hated. I was building patience. Every closed door. I was protecting a future you could not yet see. Nothing has been meaningless. Not your waiting, not your tears, not even the prayers that seemed unanswered. I have woven every part of your journey into something greater than you can imagine. There is a promise in Romans 8:28 that many people repeat, but few truly understand. It does not say that every moment is good. It says that I work through every moment for good for those who love me and are called according to my purpose. Even the broken pieces, even the regrets, even the chapters you wish you could erase. I know how to redeem what you thought was beyond repair. That is what I have always done. I did not choose perfect people to tell my story. I chose willing hearts. Moses carried doubts. David carried regret. Peter carried failure. Yet none of those things had the final word. Neither will your past. The path ahead is not asking you to pretend you have never been hurt. It is inviting you to trust that healing is possible because I am walking with you. And there is one final truth about this path that changes everything. It does not end where you think it does. The destination has never been a place. It has always been a relationship. And once your heart understands that, every step you take from this day forward will begin to feel different. From the beginning, my desire was never simply to lead you to a destination. My greatest desire has always been to walk with you. That is why the path matters so much. A destination can be reached and forgotten. A relationship grows with every step. Too often you have looked at your life and asked, when will I finally arrive? But I gently ask you a different question. What if I have been with you through every mile? Think back over your life. There were moments when you felt completely alone. The hospital room, the empty house after everyone had gone, the drive home with tears you refused to let anyone see, the prayer that ended in silence because you didn't know what else to say. You thought you were walking by yourself. You weren't. I was there in the quiet. I was there in the waiting. I was there when no one else knew how much you were hurting. You may not have felt my presence, but my presence has never depended on your feelings. The sun still shines above the clouds, even when the sky looks gray. In the same way, my love has remained over your life, even when sorrow blocked your view. Do you remember the road to Emmaus? 2 disciples walked away carrying broken hearts. They believed hope had died. They talked about everything they had lost. They did not realize I was walking beside them the entire time. Only later did they understand that their hearts had been changing while we walked together. Sometimes that is exactly how I work. You recognize my hand after the journey, not always during it. One day you will look back and see that the delay protected you. The heartbreak redirected you. The waiting strengthened you. The unanswered prayer prepared you for a better answer. Nothing you placed into my hands was ever wasted. Even your tears became part of your testimony. Even your questions became places where trust could grow. Even your weakness became room for my strength. The path has taught you something the world rarely understands. Strength is not pretending you never struggle. Strength is continuing to walk when every step requires faith. That is why I have never asked you to carry tomorrow. I only ask you to trust me today. Tomorrow has enough questions of its own. Today has enough grace for this moment. So breathe. Slow down. Listen to the quiet. You do not have to earn my attention. You already have it. You do not have to convince me to love you. I loved you before you knew my name. Before your first success, before your greatest mistake, before this very moment. That love has never changed. The path has never been built on your perfection. It has always been built on my faithfulness. Today, I want you to do something simple. When this message ends, step outside if you can. Find a quiet place. Walk slowly, not to reach somewhere, just to walk. Feel the ground beneath your feet. Notice the breeze. Listen to the sounds around you. With every step, quietly say these words: I am not walking alone. Do not rush. Let those words settle into your heart, because they are true whether you feel them or not. The path beneath your feet is a reminder that every journey begins with one step, and every step becomes easier when you stop believing you must take it alone. You have spent enough years trying to carry burdens that were never yours to hold. Lay them down. Give me your fear. Give me your regret. Give me your uncertainty. You do not have to know every answer. You only need enough faith to take the next step. I will take care of what lies beyond the next bend. And when you cannot find the strength to keep walking, remember this: I am not standing somewhere in the distance, waiting to see if you make it. I am beside you, matching every step, holding you steady, leading you home. Now there is only one thing left for you to understand: why this journey was never just about finding the path. It was always about discovering the one who has never stopped walking beside you. My child, if you remember only one thing from this moment, remember this: I have never been waiting to reject you. I have been waiting to embrace you. You may look back over your life and see broken plans. I look back and see moments where my mercy kept carrying you. You remember the doors that closed. I remember the dangers they kept you from. You remember the nights you cried yourself to sleep. I remember every tear that fell before it reached your pillow. Not one escaped my notice. Not one was forgotten. There were times when you believed your story was over. Yet I was quietly writing a new chapter. Not with hurried hands, not with loud announcements, but with the steady love of a father who never abandons his child. You have spent so much time asking, where is God? Perhaps the better question has always been, where has he not been? I was there when you celebrated. I was there when you failed. I was there when you laughed with friends. I was there when you sat alone in the dark, wondering if anyone cared. I have been closer than your next breath. You were never invisible to me. Never. You have worried that your past has made you unusable. But look at the people I have always chosen. Joseph carried betrayal before he carried influence. Ruth carried loss before she found restoration. Peter carried failure before he became a bold witness. Their greatest mistakes did not become the end of their stories. Neither will yours. I do not define you by your lowest moment. I see who you are becoming through my grace. So stop measuring your future by your past. The road behind you may explain you. It does not have to decide you. There is still purpose ahead. There is still joy you have not experienced. There is still peace you have not discovered. There are still prayers that will be answered in ways greater than you imagined. Not because life will suddenly become easy, but because you will no longer walk it alone. Whenever fear whispers that you are lost, remember the path. Whenever regret tells you it is too late, remember the path. Whenever loneliness convinces you no one understands, remember the path. It has remained beneath your feet through every season, not because faithful enough to keep calling you back. Today, you do not need to have everything figured out. You do not need perfect faith. You do not need perfect words. You only need a willing heart. Come to me just as you are. Bring your questions. Bring your doubts. Bring your scars. Bring your hopes that feel too fragile to speak aloud. You do not have to clean yourself before coming home. Home is where healing begins. And healing is rarely loud. It often starts with one quiet decision, one honest prayer, one surrendered heart. So before you leave this moment, pause for just a few seconds. Take one slow breath, then another. Let your shoulders relax. Let the weight you've been carrying rest in my hands. Say quietly, if your heart is ready, Lord, I'm ready to walk with you again. If those words are difficult, simply whisper, stay with me. I already am. I always have been, and I always will be. The path before you is not empty. It is filled with my presence. The future before you is not uncertain to me. I have already gone ahead of you. So walk forward with courage. Walk forward with hope. Walk forward knowing that every sunrise is another reminder of my faithfulness. Every breath is another gift. Every step is another opportunity to discover that my love has never left your side. You are not forgotten. You are not abandoned. You are not beyond redemption. You are deeply loved. And I have been waiting for you, not to remind you of where you've been, but to show you where, together, we can still go. If this message spoke to your heart, leave one word in the comments: home. Let it be your quiet reminder that no matter how far you've wandered, there is always a way back. Share this message with someone who came to mind while you were listening. It may be the encouragement they have been needing today. And if you'd like more messages that draw you closer to my heart, subscribe and join us again. Until then, keep walking. I'll be with you every step of the way.